Thanks for joining me. You're Susan Herman, the president of the ACLU. Tell me a little bit about your background.
My background? Well, I teach at law school. I teach at Brooklyn Law School, and I'm a lawyer. I specialize in the Constitution. The story I actually like to tell, if you want the sort of personal anecdote, is I think I first became a civil libertarian in the 3rd grade when I discovered for the first time that the boys section and the girls section of our school library were mandatory, and I was not allowed to take a book out of the boys section. So, ever since then, I think I've been kind of a little wary about people, stereotyping and telling other people what they can and can't think and read and be.
I'm a libertarian, and my detractors would argue that I'm some sort of arch conservative, and you deal with the same thing. You're the president of the ACLU, right, and everybody automatically assumes that you're down the line progressive liberal. Right. You push back.
We do push back on that, right? When the ACLU was first founded in 1920, it was a very unlikely coalition of progressives and libertarians, and we've had Democrats and Republicans and communists and just all across the line, across the political spectrum. And I think people assume that we only do things where we agree with the results, that we will only defend people's speech if we agree with what they're saying, or defend a religion if we agree with the religion. And that's just very far off the mark. Our basic idea is that the liberties in the Constitution are sort of like the golden rule, that I should be supporting your right to have the religion that you want to adhere to or to express your own beliefs, even if I don't agree, because I would want you to afford me the same rights.
For years, and libertarians do this and conservatives do it, we love to talk about the rule of law. And I realized recently that some of my progressive friends probably aren't hearing the same thing I'm saying, because to me the rule of law is one set of rules that is applied equally across the board, regardless of who you are, where you came from, the color of your skin, sexual orientation, whatever it is. But I think that some of my liberal friends think that means the opposite, that we're going to use the government, the man is going to come down on you and tell you how to live. But you guys are defenders of the rule of law.
We certainly are defenders of the rule of law, absolutely. And I think in the same way that sometimes people misunderstand the ACLU and think that we're about results rather than fair process, I would say the same thing to you. I think there are a lot of people who assume that all libertarians are arch conservatives, yeah, and all have the same ideas.
Yeah.
To me, they're all connected. But what connects them is the whole idea that other people also have rights.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a neutral principle in the same way that you're seeing rule of law as a neutral principle. So everyone immediately wants to know what side you're coming from,
yeah, and
they want to type you and stereotype you. And I think that's part of the problem we're having, isn't it?
Part of it, yeah. But one thing that we're losing on both sides, if you accept the traditional left-right spectrum, is reverence for free speech. Why is that happening? Like, everyone knows what's going on campus, yeah, but it seems generally we're less tolerant of the other guy speaking.
Why is a hard question. I think in a way, why is a question for the psychologists. That it's happening, I completely agree, we're very concerned. So there was a poll that UCLA did a few years ago where they polled 140,000 entering freshmen about their attitudes about a lot of things, including about the First Amendment and free speech. And they asked the question, do you think that the campus should keep you free from a speaker who is saying things that you really hate and disagree with? I'm obviously making up the words here. And a supermajority, something like 2/3 of the students said, yes, I shouldn't have to listen to ideas that are detestable. Another question that they asked was, do you think that the right to dissent is important? And the same supermajority said yes. Now, to me, part of the problem here is those are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
That if you're not willing to listen to, if you're not willing to allow somebody else to say something that you disagree with, then you can't have dissent. And I think students don't get it in a way. And I wonder if one of the reasons why they don't get it is that they're confident in the idea of the First Amendment and they think they're going to be able to say what they want to say. And therefore, it seems to them that there's not going to be that great a cost in saying, but you can't say what you want to say because that's just beyond.
Yeah.
I think they don't get the kind of slippery slope idea that if I can prevent you saying something I don't like, then ultimately you're at risk that somebody's going to prevent you from saying something that I don't like.